Hey, did you know that over 60% of diabetics struggle to lower their blood sugar, no matter how hard they try? Diets, exercise, pills, nothing works? It's a gut punch, feeling like your body's betraying you. Watching those numbers stay stubbornly high, while frustration and hopelessness creep in. But here's the kicker. You might be missing 7 critical micronutrients that could turn this battle around. Stick with me. I've seen too many folks suffer needlessly, and I'm here to show you what's been hiding in plain sight. Let's dig deeper. Why do so many hit this wall? It's not just about willpower or bad luck. When your muscles and tissues ignore insulin, or your pancreas just can't keep up, it's often because your body's screaming for specific nutrients it's not getting. These aren't magic pills. They're pieces of a puzzle. Your system needs to process insulin right. Think of it like a car engine missing oil. No matter how hard you push the pedal, it sputters. I've watched patients transform when we address these gaps. Folks who thought they'd be chained to meds forever. Curious how a few overlooked vitamins and minerals could shift everything? Let's peel back the layers on what's really holding you back. First, let's break down the science and the stakes. Blood sugar isn't just a number on a meter. It's a signal of how your body's handling energy. And when it's off, everything suffers. Insulin resistance, where cells stop listening to insulin's knock, or a pancreas that's too sluggish to produce enough, often ties back to deficiencies. Studies show that a majority of diabetics lack key nutrients, contributing to that vicious cycle of high glucose, inflammation, and stress on every organ. These 7 micronutrients I'm about to unpack: magnesium, chromium, probiotics, alpha-lipoic acid, zinc, CoQ10, and vitamin D, aren't just nice-to-haves. They're game changers. Changers in biochemical processes that make insulin work. I've had patients come in defeated, with A1C levels through the roof, only to see dramatic drops once we tackled these shortages. Take magnesium, for instance. It's involved in over 300 processes, including helping special pancreatic cells release insulin. Without it, sugar piles up in your blood like uncollected trash. Or consider vitamin D, often called the sunshine vitamin, acting like a hormone to regulate insulin sensitivity. Research backs this up. Low vitamin D levels correlate with a higher risk of type 2 diabetes, with studies suggesting optimal blood levels, 50 to 80 nanograms per milliliter, can cut that risk significantly. Then there's zinc, a tiny mineral with a huge job, aiding insulin storage and release, while fighting inflammation that diabetes fuels. I remember a patient, mid-50s, who couldn't shake fatigue and slow healing cuts. Classic diabetic sign. We tested, found his zinc tank was empty, and after a month of 30 milligrams daily with a protein-heavy meal, he was stunned at how much better he felt. Cuts closing faster, energy creeping back. These nutrients aren't random. They're targeted fixes for specific breakdowns. Chromium, often missing in diets low on fruits and veggies, enhances insulin's action. 200 milligrams a day can make a dent, especially since most Western diets lack the 7-9 servings needed for natural intake. Probiotics balance your gut, where 30 trillion bacteria influence glucose metabolism more than you'd guess. Alpha-lipoic acid, especially the RALA form, cuts nerve pain and boosts insulin sensitivity. 600 milligrams daily has turned around nerve damage symptoms for folks I've worked with who thought they'd never feel their toes again. CoQ10, at 100 milligrams with a fatty meal, powers cell energy and eases the heart strain diabetes brings. Each of these has a role, a dosage, a timing, like 2,000 IU of vitamin D with dinner for absorption, or 5 to 10,000 IU if you're severely low. I've seen the labs, the tearful relief when numbers finally budge. This isn't guesswork. It's rebuilding your body's toolkit from the ground up, naturally, without leaning on a crutch of endless prescriptions. Now, here's a twist that might make you rethink everything. Could the solution to your blood sugar woes be hiding in your gut? I'm not just talking diet. I mean the literal ecosystem inside you, outnumbering your own cells. When I first learned we've got 30 trillion bacteria versus 20 trillion human cells, it floored me. These tiny tenants make vitamins, tweak hormones, and directly mess with how your insulin responds. An unbalanced gut can sabotage glucose control, while a healthy one, fed by 50 to 100 billion units of probiotics daily, can steady your levels and even help shed stubborn weight. I've had a patient, a stubborn case, overweight and diabetic, who swore his diet was fine. We introduced probiotics with meals, and over months, not only did his metabolism shift, losing 15 pounds, but his blood sugar readings stabilized. He'd laugh, saying he felt like his gut was finally on his team. Why does this matter? Because ignoring your gut is like ignoring a leaky pipe in your house. It'll wreck everything downstream. Pair this with nutrients like magnesium glycinate, 100 milligrams before a morning workout, calming stress while boosting insulin sensitivity, and you've got a 1-2 punch. The synergy here isn't fluff, it's strategy. Vitamin D needs K2 to steer calcium to bones, not arteries. ALA works best alongside other nerve-supporting elements. I've seen the difference when we layer these thoughtfully. Patients who couldn't sleep from nerve pain or stress, now resting better. Numbers improve. It's not one fix. It's a web of support your body's been begging for. Let's hit the peak of why these 7 micronutrients aren't just options. They're essential, and I've got the proof to back it up. Start with magnesium, the unsung hero. In the pancreas, sugar enters beta cells through a gate called the GLUT2 receptor. An enzyme, glucokinase, transforms it, triggering insulin release, but only if magnesium lets calcium flow in to seal the deal. Without it, insulin stays locked up, blood sugar soars. Studies link low magnesium to higher A1C and insulin resistance in type 2 diabetics. And since modern farming strips it from food, leaving Western diets at 30 to 50% of needed intake, your risk spikes. I've prescribed 400 milligrams magnesium citrate for constipation-prone patients, or 100 milligrams glycinate for better absorption and calm, and watched glucose levels drop within weeks. One case stands out. A woman in her 60s, always tired, blood pressure erratic, diabetic for a decade. Her magnesium was rock bottom. After a month on glycinate, with a high-fat, low-carb breakfast, her energy returned. Readings fell from 180 to 130 fasting. She cried in my office, saying she hadn't felt normal in years. Then there's chromium. 200 milligrams daily fills a gap most Americans miss, amplifying insulin's effect. Research shows it can lower fasting glucose in deficient folks by enhancing cell receptor response. I've seen it work in a truck driver patient, always on processed food, chromium levels non-existent. 3 months in, his spikes after meals flat. Vitamin D's another heavyweight. Deficiency doubles diabetes risk per some studies, and getting to 50 to 80 nanograms per milliliter with 2,000 IU daily, or more if low, shifts insulin handling. I recall a man, pale from desk work, no sun exposure, vitamin D at 15 nanograms per milliliter. After 5,000 IU daily with K2, paired with fatty dinners, his levels hit 60, and his insulin sensitivity improved. Less medication needed. Zinc at 30 milligrams with protein powers insulin and healing. I've watched diabetic skin issues clear up once topped up. CoQ10, 100 milligrams, cuts oxidative stress, vital since diabetes trashes cells. A heart-weary patient of mine felt stronger, exercised longer after starting it. Alpha-lipoic acid, 600 milligrams of RALA, eases neuropathy. I've seen tingling feet calm down, patients walking without wincing. Probiotics, 50 to 100 billion units, reset gut-driven glucose chaos. One woman's bloating vanished, blood sugar steadied, metabolism kicked in. Each nutrient's a brick in the wall against diabetes, backed by science and real lives changed. I've tracked the labs, seen the turnarounds, folks cutting meds, reclaiming energy. This isn't theory. It's a lifeline if you act on it. Now, let's lighten the load with a wild truth that'll stick with you. Picture this. Inside you right now, there's a party of 30 trillion bacteria, outnumbering your own cells like rowdy guests crashing your house. They're not just freeloaders. They're calling shots on your blood sugar, making vitamins, tweaking hormones, deciding if insulin gets a VIP pass or gets blocked at the door. When I first wrapped my head around this, it hit me like a ton of bricks. My body's not even fully mine. It's hilarious, in a weird way, thinking you're feeding a microbial mob that could be sabotaging you if they're off balance. I've told patients this, and they crack up, imagining tiny critters throwing tantrums in their gut. But here's the real deal. Get those good bacteria in line with probiotics. 50 to 100 billion units a day with a meal. And it's like hiring a bouncer for that party. I've watched a guy, always sluggish, diabetic for years, start probiotics and turn into a different person. His digestion smoothed out, weight started dropping, and he'd joke, "Guess my gut gang finally got along." It's not just a laugh, it's a reminder. Your body's a weird, wonderful ecosystem, and something as small as a daily dose can flip the script on how you feel. I've seen the before and afters. Folks bloated and miserable, then lighter, steadier. Blood sugar readings, no longer a roller coaster. It's a quirky nudge to rethink what control means. Not just willpower, but wrangling trillions of tiny allies. Next time you eat, picture that party inside. Are you feeding the good guests or the troublemakers? That mental image alone might just make you reach for a probiotic-rich snack over junk. It's a small step with a big ripple. And honestly, it's kind of fun to think your gut's got a personality of its own, waiting for you to set the vibe right. So here's the bottom line. These 7 micronutrients, magnesium, chromium, probiotics, alpha-lipoic acid, zinc, CoQ10, and vitamin D, aren't just supplements. They're your body's missing links to fight blood sugar spikes naturally. They tackle the root causes, from insulin resistance to gut chaos, with science and real results behind them. Pair them with smart moves, exercise, solid sleep, less stress, and you've got a shot at rewriting your story. I've seen it happen, and I know you can feel that shift too. If you're fired up to keep learning about beating diabetes on your terms, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Your support keeps me sharing these hard-won truths. Videos like this can vanish quick, so don't wait. And hey, which of these nutrients blew your mind the most? Drop it in the comments. I'm all ears for what's got you thinking.